Good morning, students. So, in Unit 2, we were dealing with oxidation reactions. So, today in this module, we will see about the other oxidizing reagent, that is lead tetraacetate. Lead tetraacetate. Lead tetraacetate is a versatile oxidizing reagent which is used for the oxidation of several compounds. You get different functional groups by the oxidation using lead tetraacetate, and lead tetraacetate can be easily prepared by taking lead oxide and treating this with acetic acid, lead oxide plus acetic acid in presence of acetic anhydride gives lead tetraacetate, lead diacetate, lead tetraacetate, lead diacetate and water. So if you balance this reaction, you can see, you can balance this, that is lead oxide reacts with 8 molecules of acetic acid to give lead tetraacetate and lead diacetate. So lead tetraacetate is used as the oxidizing agent. So if you see the structure of lead tetraacetate, what is the structure of lead tetraacetate? So lead tetraacetate consists of lead linked with 4 acetate molecules. So this is your lead tetraacetate, and this lead tetraacetate, the lead is having the oxidation state of +4. So this +4 oxidation state changes into +2 oxidation state, which means that it is changing from +4 to +2, which means this is undergoing reduction, and since this is undergoing reduction, this can conveniently act as oxidizing agent. So lead tetraacetate is a versatile oxidizing agent, and this oxidizing agent is used generally by taking acetic acid as a solvent. Acetic acid is used as a solvent. So the various oxidations that are possible by using lead tetraacetate are, the first one is, it can be used for the oxidative cleavage of vicinal diols. It can be used for the oxidative cleavage of vicinal diols. It can be used for the oxidation of alpha hydroxy acids, where it undergoes oxidative decarboxylation. So oxidative decarboxylation of alpha hydroxy acids. It can be used for the oxidative decarboxylation of alpha keto acids, oxidative decarboxylation of alpha keto acids. It can be used for oxidative decarboxylation of acids or 1,2-dicarboxylic acids. Both can undergo oxidative decarboxylation. Then it can be used for oxidation of primary or secondary alcohols, where primary alcohols are converted into aldehydes, whereas secondary alcohols are converted into ketones. The next reaction that can be used, or oxidation that can be used by using your lead tetraacetate, is your acetoxylation of allylic hydrogens, where we can see that the allylic hydrogens can be replaced by acetoxyl group. Then it can also be used for the acetoxylation of olefins. Then it can also be used for methylation of aromatic compounds. And next, the most important is it can also be used for oxidation of amines, where you get different products depending upon the type of the amine that you are using. So these are the various ways in which the lead tetraacetate can participate in the oxidation. So we'll see one by one after the one, what is the mechanism and what is the product form by using the oxidation of the lead tetraacetate. Arna. So oxidative cleavage of vicinal diols. What are vicinal diols? Vicinal diols means the diols containing hydroxy group at adjacent positions or 1,2 positions are called as vicinal diols. Say for example, if I take this is butane 2,3-diol, where you can see the 2 hydroxy groups are present on the adjacent carbon atoms. So such type of diols are called as vicinal diols. So this vicinal diol can exist in 2 forms, that is either a mesoform or an active form. Mesoform means if the 2 hydroxy groups are present on the same side, it is called as the mesoform. If they are present on the opposite sides, then it is called as the active form. So if I write the structure of the mesoform, it is like this. This is CH3OH H. So in the Fischer projection formula, if both hydroxy groups are present on the same side, this is called as mesoform. If the hydroxy groups are present on the opposite sides, this is called as the active form of butane 2,3-diol. So both are vicinal diols which can exist in either the mesoform or in the active form. Now the lead tetraacetate can oxidize both mesoform as well as the active form, but the mechanism will be different. The way the reaction undergoes will be different for the mesoform or the active form. Similarly, if you take a cyclic diol, if I take this, I can call this as cyclopentane cis 1,2-diol or cyclopentane trans 1,2-diol. So this is trans 1,2-diol, This is cis cyclopentane 1,2-diol. So in cis-diol, the two hydroxy groups are present on the same side. In trans-diol, they are present on the opposite side. Both cis as well as trans-diols can undergo oxidative cleavage to give the corresponding carbonyl compound by using lead tetraacetate. So if you see the mechanism how the reaction occurs, so in case of the cis-diol, if I take cis-diol where the two hydroxy groups are present on the same side, so this reacts with lead tetraacetate. So instead of writing OCOCH3, I am simply writing this as acetate. Okay, so this is lead tetraacetate. So this reacts with your lead like this. With the elimination of acetic acid, it forms and since the hydroxy group is present on the same side, this can further react with the lead acetate to form a cyclic transition state. It forms a cyclic transition state. So this is your cyclic transition state. So it results in the formation of a cyclic transition state, and this cyclic transition state can undergo decomposition leading to the cleavage of the carbon-carbon bond. Since this is undergoing the cleavage of carbon-carbon bond, that is why it is called as oxidative cleavage of 1,2-diols, resulting in the formation of a dialdehyde. Dialdehyde is formed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is a cleavage of 1,5 bond with the formation of aldehyde. So this is how occurs with the formation of a cyclic transition state. Whereas in case of 1,4,5 pentadiol, 1,2-diol with a trans configuration, the reaction will be different. With a trans configuration, if I take, since in the trans configuration you have the two hydroxy groups present at the opposite side to each other, therefore the reaction occurs in a stepwise manner. So if you see how the reaction occurs in a stepwise manner, first this is formed, from this it will not result into a cyclic transition state, rather the reaction occurs in a stepwise manner with the elimination of say this one, and the acetate ion to give the same product. The product is same. Again you will get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,5-diol, 1,5-diol, dialdehyde is formed. 1,5-diol is formed, but it occurs in a stepwise manner. So whenever it is with a trans configuration, the reaction occurs in a stepwise manner. If it is a cis configuration, it occurs through a cyclic transition state. Since it is occurring through a cyclic transition state in a cis-diol, therefore this reaction occurs at a faster rate, whereas in case of the trans-diol, the reaction occurs at a slower rate. This is because of the entropy advantage that you get in case of your cis-diol, where the entropy advantage is not present in case of the trans-diol. Therefore, the trans-diol reaction occurs at a slower rate, whereas in cis-diol the reaction occurs at a quite faster rate. But in both the cases, the product that is formed is same, involving the cleavage of the bond present between the two 1,2 diols. The bond cleavage will take place, resulting in the form of an aldehyde. Similarly, if you take a acyclic diol, where I said the acyclic diol can exist either in the meso form or in the active form. So if I write the meso form Newman projection for this meso form, I can write the Newman projection as CH3 OH H. So here the one which are on the same side, they will be 180 degrees to each other. So this is OH CH3H. So this is the Newman projection for your mesodiol. So in mesodiol, you can see the two hydroxy groups are opposite to each other. The two methyls are opposite to each other. So it is the most stable conformation for mesodiol. This is the most stable conformation for mesodiol. So the mesodiol will be existing in this particular conformation, and the reaction of this particular diol will occur at a slower rate. The reaction occurs at a slower rate because the reaction should take place in a stepwise manner rather than a cyclic transition state. So it occurs in a stepwise manner, resulting in the formation of two molecules of acetaldehyde. It results in the formation of two molecules of acetaldehyde. So when you take an active form, if I write the Newman projection for active form, I can write this as CH3 OH H, and OH and H are opposite to each other. OH and H are opposite to each other. The two methyls are opposite to each other. H and OH are opposite to each other. So this is the most stable conformation for active form. So in the most stable conformation of the active form of butane 2,3-diol, the two hydroxy groups are gouged to each other. Since they are gouged to each other, they can easily lead to the formation of a cyclic transition state like this. It will result in the formation of a cyclic transition state, and since this is forming a cyclic transition state, the reaction occurs quite easily. This is your CH3H. So this results in a cyclic transition state. Therefore, the reaction occurs easily, or I can say the reaction occurs at a faster rate when compared to the mesodiol. So in case of cyclic diols, the cis-diol occurs oxidative cleavage at a faster rate, whereas in case of acyclic diols, it is always the active form which undergoes the reaction at a faster rate when compared to your mesodiol. So this is about the oxidative cleavage of vicinal diols, which generally takes place as acetic acid as the solvent. But when you are using pyridine as a solvent, if you use pyridine as a solvent, even with your mesodiol of your acyclic form or transdiol of your cyclic form will undergo the reaction at a faster rate. The reason is, when we are using this pyridine as pyridine, which is a very strong base, you can say pyridine is a base. Therefore, this base will be capable of abstracting the hydrogen. Say for example, if you are treating this with a transdiol, where you have the transition state, which is not a cyclic transition state, rather a cyclic transition state which is not having any entropy advantage, even then in presence of pyridine will be able to abstract this hydrogen, and due to the abstraction of this hydrogen by pyridine, the reaction occurs easily, leading to the cleavage of your carbon-carbon bond. Therefore, the reaction occurs at a faster rate. So, the stepwise cleavage, oxidative cleavage of 1,2 diols by using lead tetraacetate can take place at a faster rate in presence of pyridine rather than acetic acid. So, if the reaction is carried out in presence of pyridine, the reaction occurs at a faster rate to give the corresponding diols, the cleavage of the corresponding diols to give the carbonyl compounds. Now, if you take a hydroxy compound containing hydroxy groups on either side, say for example, if I am taking a molecule like this, say for example, I am taking a molecule like this, where you have the 1,2 diols present adjacent to each other. So, if you take this carbon-carbon bond, you have the 1,2 diol present at the adjacent carbon atoms. So, this can undergo cleavage by using your lead tetraacetate. Similarly, this bond can undergo cleavage. So, this bond cannot undergo any cleavage. So, if you have the hydroxy groups present on either side of the carbon atom holding the OH, the cleavage occurs on both the sides, and if the cleavage occurs on both the sides, this particular carbon will lead to the formation of an acid rather than your carbonyl compound. So, the resulting compounds in case of this particular molecule with using lead tetraacetate, which is a triol, using the lead tetraacetate would give rise to an aldehyde here. So, this is CH3, CH double bond O, whereas this third carbon will lead to the formation of your acid. So, it leads to the formation of a formic acid because you have the hydroxy groups on either side of the carbon atom. Therefore, this leads to the formation of a carboxy acid, and this leads to the formation of CH3, CH3, H, C double bond O, H. So, in this way, the products depends upon how the hydroxy groups are present on a particular carbon atom. If you have hydroxy groups present on either side of the carbon atom along with the carbon holding the hydroxy group, that particular carbon will always lead to the formation of an acid. Otherwise, it leads to the formation of a carbonyl compound. Depending upon the substitution pattern, you will get different carbonyl compounds. Say for example, if I take this is decalene molecule holding the two hydroxy substituents. So, this is a trans diol because this is a trans decalene. So, this is a trans diol. Whereas, if I write or if I take a diol like this, this can be called as cis diol because this is a diol formed in the cis decalene, so it is a cis diol. So, both trans diol as well as the cis diol will lead to the same carbonyl compound, leading to the cleavage of this particular carbon-carbon bond. This bond will undergo cleavage. So, we will get a carbonyl group at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. So, if I write the structure, a 10 carbon chain with a carbonyl at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I get 1, 6 deca cyclodecadione as the product. In both the cases, the product is same. The only difference is, because this is a cis-diol, the reaction occurs through a cyclic transition state. Therefore, the reaction is faster. Whereas when the reaction is occurring in case of a trans-diol, it occurs in a stepwise mechanism rather than a cyclic transition state. Therefore, the reaction occurs at a slower rate. But the product formed will be same. Now, if the same reaction, if I am doing by using pyridine instead of acetic acid, if I use pyridine and lead tetraacetate, the reaction will again be a faster reaction similar to that of your cis-diol to give you 1,6-dione as the product. So that is about the oxidative cleavage of carbon-carbon diols to give you the aldehydes or ketones as the product with the cleavage of the carbon-carbon bond. So the next oxidation that can take place with lead tetraacetate is oxidation of alpha hydroxy acids. Say for example, if I take RCHOH C double bond OH, this can be called as alpha hydroxy acid because it contains hydroxy group at alpha carbon atom. Therefore, it is called as alpha hydroxy acids. So, alpha hydroxy acids, when treated with lead tetraacetate in presence of glacial acetic acid as a solvent, the product formed will be an aldehyde with the liberation of carbon dioxide and 2 molecules of acetic acid, and the lead being reduced to 2 plus 2 forming lead diacetate. So, if you see how the mechanism of the reaction occurs in case of alpha hydroxy acids. Alpha hydroxy acid when treated with lead tetraacetate undergoes the reaction with the oxygen with the elimination of your acid, that is acetic acid will be eliminated, leading to the formation of the addition of lead triacetate to your carboxylic carbon. So, again this can attack the lead with the elimination of acetic acid, forming a cyclic transition state like this. So, this undergoes the decarboxylation reaction, that is elimination of carbon dioxide. So, minus CO2 with the formation of RCH double bond O plus lead diacetate. So in this way, the alpha hydroxy carboxylic acids are changed into aldehyde with the elimination of carbon dioxide. So the alpha hydroxy acids undergo decarboxylative oxidation leading to the formation of an aldehyde. So primary OH is the hydroxy group is converted into the aldehyde group with the elimination of carbon dioxide. So it is called as oxidative decarboxylation of alpha hydroxy acids to aldehydes. So the aldehydes are the products that are formed by using your alpha hydroxy acids undergoing oxidation with lead tetraacetate. Similarly, the alpha keto acids, instead of hydroxy group, suppose if you have a keto group, so this can be called as alpha keto acid. So alpha keto acids can also undergo decarboxylation reaction in a similar manner. Say this reacts with lead tetraacetate in a similar manner. With the elimination of carbon dioxide, it leads to the formation of an aldehyde. So this is also an oxidative decarboxylation of your alpha keto acids to give aldehyde by using lead tetraacetate. The mechanism of the reaction can be given as, if you see the mechanism of the reaction, so if you have a keto acid, this is reacting with lead tetraacetate. The lone pair of electrons present on oxygen attacks the lead, leading to the formation of an acid. So acetic acid is eliminated, forming R, C double bond O, C double bond O, O and lead with 3 acetyl groups. We have 3 acetyl groups. Okay. Now this undergoes attack with your carbonyl. The bond to form a bond with your lead with the elimination of acetate ion, and this acetate ion will be attacking the electron deficient carbon here, leading to the formation of R, C, OAC, C double bond O, 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 lead. Okay, so this undergoes decarboxylation in a similar manner, elimination of carbon dioxide and formation of your keto acetate will be formed, and in presence of acetic acid which has been eliminated in the first step, this undergoes reaction with your acetyl group leading to the formation of your aldehyde with the formation of acetic anhydride, CH3CO twice, acetic anhydride will be formed with the attack of proton on this, leading to the formation of aldehyde and acetic anhydride as the product with the elimination of carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation of carboxylic acid will take place to give you the aldehyde as the product in case of alpha keto acids. So both alpha hydroxy acids as well as alpha keto acids undergo decarboxylative oxidation to give you the corresponding carbonyl compounds as the product by using lead tetraacetate. Of primary and secondary alcohols. Oxidation of primary and secondary alcohols using lead tetraacetate. So primary alcohols undergo oxidation by using lead tetraacetate and get converted into an aldehyde, whereas secondary alcohols undergo oxidation and get converted into ketones. So both primary as well as secondary alcohols can undergo oxidation by using lead tetraacetate. So let us see how the primary alcohol undergoes oxidation. So if I take this, so this is an example of primary alcohol. So primary alcohol on reaction with lead tetraacetate undergoes oxidation to give an aldehyde with the formation of lead diacetate and elimination of 2 molecules of acetic acid. So if you see the mechanism of the reaction, primary alcohol containing oxygen with lone pair of electrons, which is capable of attacking lead tetraacetate. So this attacks lead tetraacetate with the elimination of acetate and H plus to give acetic acid. So acetic acid is eliminated, forming RCH2O acetate. Okay. Now this abstracts the hydrogen, eliminating lead diacetate, giving rise to an aldehyde as a product. So we get an aldehyde with the formation of lead diacetate and a molecule of acetic acid is eliminated. So in this way, a primary alcohol can be converted into an aldehyde by using lead tetraacetate. Whereas if you take a secondary alcohol like this, can be called as a secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol reacts with lead tetraacetate to form a ketone. Instead of an aldehyde, we will get a ketone with the formation of lead diacetate and 2 molecules of acetic acid. So if you see the mechanism how the reaction occurs, you see the mechanism of the reaction. Secondary alcohol containing oxygen with lone pair of electrons is capable of attacking the lead tetraacetate, which involves elimination of the acetic acid, acetate ion and proton from your alcohol to give this as an intermediate. is formed as an intermediate. This intermediate readily abstracts the proton and elimination of lead diacetate will take place with the removal of acetic acid. So acetic acid is removed and you will get a ketone with the formation of lead diacetate as the product. So a secondary alcohol is converted into ketone, whereas a primary alcohol is converted into an aldehyde with the oxidation of lead tetraacetate. Now if you have an alcohol which contains both primary as well as secondary alcoholic group at different positions, not at the adjacent positions as we have seen in case of vicinaldiols, both will get oxidized into corresponding carbonyl compound. Say for example, if I take this is a secondary alcohol, this is a primary alcohol. So if I treat this with lead tetraacetate, the secondary alcohol will get converted into ketone, primary alcohol will get converted into an aldehyde. So you will get C double bond O H. This is CH2OH being converted into CHO, CH2, C double bond O, because this is secondary alcohol converted into ketone. So you can see the oxidation of both primary alcohol into an aldehyde group and secondary alcohol into a ketonic group, which means that lead tetraacetate undergoes oxidation with no selectivity. So it is a strong oxidizing agent and it does not exhibit any selectivity towards the primary or a secondary alcohol, as we have seen in case of silver carbonate, where we say that the silver carbonate preferentially undergoes oxidation of a secondary when compared to primary. But lead tetraacetate is a strong oxidizing agent, therefore it does not show any selectivity towards oxidation. Both primary as well as the secondary alcohols will undergo oxidation to aldehydes and ketones. Now if you have a the hydroxy group containing delta hydrogen, it may lead to the cyclization product to give you a cyclic compound containing oxygen by using lead tetraacetate. Whereas the alpha hydroxy or alpha keto acids can undergo oxidation with decarboxylation to give you the elimination of carbon dioxide from your carboxylic group, finally giving you an aldehyde as the product with one carbon less. Whereas the primary and secondary alcohols undergo oxidation to give aldehydes and ketones respectively, and primary alcohols, if they contain the delta hydrogen, it will lead to the formation of a cyclic product rather than the formation of an aldehyde. So primary alcohols will give aldehyde provided they are not having any delta hydrogen. In the presence of delta hydrogen, it always leads to the formation of a cyclic product. Whereas the secondary alcohols will always lead to the formation of ketones as the product. Okay, so we'll see the other oxidizing properties of lead tetraacetate in the next module. Thank you.